I'm going to call this video Central Line. You might wonder what the hell's that got to do with the church? Quite frankly, quite a lot. I don't know whether you know, but I don't know whether it's a central line, but somewhere on the underground there is an organ which has come out of a disused church. If that doesn't speak volumes about the trouble the church is in, I don't know what does. What is even more, in a way, sad, I look up somebody called Anna Lapwood. She is a young, glamorous organist, and she's got a lovely blonde hair with a plait, and she's full of life and absolutely obviously loves the organ. And I think, you know, there's not only one Anna Lapwood, there are probably lots of Anna Lapwoods out there, but where can they go to play organs? Because all the organs in most of the churches, particularly rural churches, are not being used. There are no organists. So we need to address that at some point. But the main thing that I really want to talk about here is that if you have a message, and we are called the Church of England, you have got to spread that message throughout the whole country. And if you don't spread that message, then the things will, quite frankly, die. And I am alarmed at the amount of centralisation that the church is talking about. Okay, I can say that they probably are saying that people are not turning up in rural churches and numbers are falling. Don't we always hear all the time, numbers are falling, numbers are falling? Well, I ran a business for some time, and if you saw numbers are falling, your clients were going, well, you had a jolly good look at it as to why that was happening, and then you addressed it. So I can tell you why it's happening. And I'm an ordinary person who's been a Christian. I'm 87 years old, so I've probably been in this life longer than any people looking at this video, and I've been a Christian that long. And one of the problems that the church is actually bringing about, probably without quite realising it, is the dearth of priests. They've been making parishes larger and larger. They've been giving priests far too much work to do, so no pastoral care takes place. And it is an absolute, complete and utter tragedy, and I'm absolutely amazed they can't see the problems that they have created. When churches are numbers are falling and there aren't enough priests, you get something called an interregnum, which I'm sure anybody who has anything to do with the church knows jolly well what that's all about. Most of them go on for over a year. In fact, I hardly think there are any that are under a year, which is absolutely disgraceful. And they are actually open-ended because there aren't a queue of priests wanting to take up the post. They have to rattle around and see what they can find to take up the position. And in the meantime, obviously church wardens and wonderfully worthy people who really love the church take over and run the thing. But of course it's not the same. And what I have noticed in a lengthy interregnum over a year that recently we've had in our church is that they bring in retired priests. Every one of those retired priests are absolutely wonderful people, so warm, so welcoming. And I remember one of them said to me the other day as I went out of the church, God bless you. And another one said, oh, it's been so nice coming to look after you because I feel now that I really know you. And then, of course, he's going off. That's very important. I really know you. If you don't really know your customers, how do you know what they need or what they want? So this centralisation and lack of priests throughout the country is incredibly damaging. Not only that, it's not just that the Christian message is not being fulfilled. What will also happen as these churches close is more organs end up in the underground, then these buildings become derelict, very expensive to insure against public liability. And although the church might think they can sell them as desirable residences, frankly, a lot of them are listed and it'd be extremely difficult to do so. And not everybody wants a lot of bone meal in their garden, which of course I'm referring to the graveyards. I always think, actually, if you see a problem, and actually when you see a problem, you criticise. It's called criticism, isn't it? You criticise something. You say, look, you're not doing this right. And I also feel that the church has a very difficult job to do. But as I've said, I'll just repeat it, if you haven't got the priests out there listening to what the parishioners want and getting to know them, the thing will eventually collapse. So my view is, if I feel critical about something, I should do something about it myself. It may indeed go nowhere. I do write constantly to all the bishops. I think most of them know my name now. And I laugh to myself sometimes when I think how many wastepaper baskets I might be filling up. But there we are. So my next video is going to be about how the church might consider, I'm not running it, am I? I've got to be careful here, that those who do run it might consider how they can rectify what happens, particularly in Sunday services, and get more younger people into the church so it is a place of joy and great rejoicing, so that no more organs end up in the underground.